Hi, folks. Welcome to this short informational webinar about the SUNY Center for Professional Development Career Readiness Champion Certificate Program. My name is Chris Price. I'm the Academic Programs Manager for the SUNY CPD. And I'm joined here today with our three instructors. I'll let them introduce themselves as we go into the courses they'll be teaching for the program. I'm just going to kick it off today to just tell you a little bit about what the program is about and how our certificate programs work. The link to the website for the program, my colleague Jen at the CPD just posted it in the chat, so you'll be able to see that there. Registration is there as well. So everything is, the links at the top of the screen here to get to everything. It all scrolls down in one kind of ready scroll. So I'm just going to go through each of these here. The way our programs work at the Center for Professional Development are, there are three courses in most of our programs that you need to take to earn a certificate. These are not credit-bearing courses, so there's no, they're not affiliated with any colleges or universities. They're solely professional development courses. However, they're structured very much like a graduate course would be. They're not quite as intensive as a graduate course. We say that typically you can expect to spend about 2 to 4 hours per week in our courses, and they're all 6 weeks. They're all delivered online and asynchronously, so that means there are no Zoom meetings, but they are also interactive. They're not self-paced. So if you do sign up for the program, you can expect to do some work every week. Like I said, 2 to 4 hours a week, some weeks maybe a little closer to 2 and some weeks closer to 4. So they are designed to be accommodating to your work schedule. I know many of you probably are either faculty or staff and are, obviously will have responsibilities to do other than this course while you're taking it. So we try to be as accommodating as we can about that. I'm excited about this program. That it's one of it's our newest program that we're offering. And we haven't had a new program in a couple of years. And it's taken a little over a year to put this together. We designed it with the assistance of folks who work in career development offices throughout SUNY. You can see the description here. And the overarching goal of the program is to help faculty and staff on campuses learn the knowledge and skills they need to sort of create a campus culture focused on supporting students and planning for a career. So the idea and really the motivation behind this program was to provide assistance to those who work in career development centers with the job that they do, right? And the motivation behind it was that career planning for students is everybody's responsibility who works with students, right? It can't just be something that students think about only when they interact with their career development office on their campus. And so, the purpose of the program is for the folks who go through it can be allies to those who work in career development offices, but also too to kind of incorporate it into what they do, so that's not an extra thing, right? So all the courses, as you hear about them, will be designed to help you incorporate career readiness into what you do, whether or not you're a faculty member or a staff member. The target audience, therefore, is everyone who works at a campus for the most part. Anybody that works in a job that involves students directly. So there you see the kind of target audience there. And we might not have gotten everybody in that target audience. So if you're not sure if this is for you and you want to ask, feel free to ask a question. Here are the overarching learning objectives for the program. Gain a practical understanding of the career development process, resources, and tools. So it's really focused on that practical understanding piece. This isn't going to be a program you might find in a graduate program where you're going to get more in-depth, maybe theoretical, go in-depth into the theoretical literature about career development. This is about, really what you can use practically in your job. And so therefore, the second overarching learning objective is to effectively communicate with students about their career choices and planning. And then finally, as I just said before, the overarching objective is to learn how to integrate career readiness into what you do, into your role advising students, advising considered now broadly, not just advising them to, the courses they take, but advising them on career plans and life plans, frankly. And then how to contribute to, creating this kind of career culture on your campus to help students to be thinking about, what they're going to do when they leave. And so to complete the program, there are 3 courses that you need to complete. And we do recommend that you take them in order. The first course begins in the, I say the spring, but it's really the winter, on January 4th. And that goes for 6 weeks. And then the other 2 courses are immediately after that. So as soon as course 1 ends, course 2 begins, and then course 3. When you register for them, you'll see that if you register for all 3 courses at the same time, there is a discount for the program as a whole. So, if you're not sure and you want to sort of sample the first course before registering for the 2 other courses, you will have to pay the full price for that course, which is $275. But if you decide, I'm just going to go ahead and register for the whole program, the price for the program itself is $705. If you do that, if you register for the whole program and then take the first course and something happens, life gets in the way, we do allow folks to defer their registration at least 1 sort of cycle. So that is something to take into account as well. But after a week before the program begins, we don't issue refunds. So think about this before you sign up. Make sure that if you do sign up and decide not to continue in the program, that you withdraw your registration at least a week before the program. Okay, I see there's one question in the chat. Jen just reposted the link there for folks who came in after us. But what I'd like to do now is just kind of go and ask the instructors to introduce themselves first and then talk about their courses in order. So we'll start with course 1, and that is Dawn. So Dawn, take it away.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. I'm Dawn Jones. I'm the Assistant Director at SUNY Schenectady Community College. I've been in career services here at the college for about 13 years now. And prior to that, I was an employment specialist working with individuals with disabilities. So I have a lot of background in career-related services, and one of my specialty areas is career transition, as well as overcoming barriers. So I am going to be teaching our first course, and that is the Introduction to the Career Development Process. And it's really designed to help faculty and staff just really get an understanding of what career development is and how it's done on their campuses. And each campus is doing that a bit differently. They are using different resources. They're approaching it in different ways. And, my goal with this class is to really help you sort of look at all of that background and how to really integrate what you're doing, your daily practice, into career services, and also integrate the career services pieces into everything that you do. So really working interchangeably a little bit with the different offices that you might be working with. And also utilizing resources that are readily available, either on your campus or on the web. We've got 5 modules that will be going through in the first course. The first one is really looking at the importance of integrating careers into academics and in all areas of the institution. Because like Chris mentioned, it's really everybody's responsibility, and it needs to start from day one, when they're applying to the different campuses and, deciding what it is that they want to be taking for their programs, and approaching the different courses that they might be selecting throughout their program. We'll learn about some of the national standards for career readiness types of things and the career competencies. And then in module 2, we'll really be going into a little bit, really just skimming the surface of some of the theories that are out there that your own centers might be using, or that can be sort of taken into account when you're working with students in different ways. So we'll brush over that and look at a little bit more in depth about what theories or approaches your centers might be taking so that you can learn how you might best be able to support those centers and the students in driving them to the career centers. Our third area we'll be looking at our career assessments and how those can be used in different ways, more to give you an understanding of what your own campuses are using so that you can help drive students to that again. And then we'll be reviewing ethics in career services, again, those national standards. Often we might hear, oh, we've got this student that would be great for this opportunity, or, you know, send me somebody who can fit this role. And really, is that the most ethical approach? So we'll be looking at some of the issues surrounding how students might be referred to work opportunities, whether it's on campus or out in the community. And then our last area of focus will be how to work with the students where they're at. When the students are coming into your offices or into your classrooms, you know, on any given day, what are they dealing with, and how can we work with them in that moment to provide them the best resources and the best information. And so really helping to support those students, supporting our diverse populations, and also helping them to identify what their next steps might be, either with your office or other resources on your campuses. And so that's really the overview of course one. As Chris said, it's, you know, it will be, you know, sort of at your own pace within those 6 weeks of the course, and within those module settings. There will not be, you know, specific times where you will need to log on. So you'll be able to do that work at your own pace within those module guidelines. I will be providing check-ins throughout that 6-week session. So there will be opportunity to connect with me in that, you know, sort of check-in Zoom meeting time, although those will be optional, sort of like office hours. And of course, I will be very accessible throughout the course via email and phone. So I look forward to working with anybody who's going to be joining us for this.
It's hard to unmute yourself when you're on full screen. All right, thank you, Don. All right, course 2, Jose Miguel.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Don. So my name is Jose Miguel Longo. I'm currently the Director of Career Services at SUNY Polytechnic Institute. I'm also the coach and founder for Coaching for Millennials. And so I have a podcast that's based around supporting millennials and Gen Zs in their career journey and in their life. So for course 2, we'll be discussing how to develop your career toolkit. And this is an exciting topic for me because it's one of the areas where I spend a lot of my time coaching with students and developing their framework and understanding what their toolkit looks like from a career perspective and their journey each year. So the objective is to really help you as a faculty member, staff member, or partner or champion on your campus, understanding what that looks like. So going through what the NACE competencies are so that when you're talking to students, you can understand them and point them out, but also how do you apply that to the technologies or the services or the resources that are used by career center offices, and how can you connect with students about them? So it's being able to say, if in your classroom, you're teaching about XYZ, how can you connect either the NACE competencies or a tool used by the career center to adopt it into the model of working with that student? So it's really building that mentoring relationship as a person, as a partner with the student, but understanding how you can best support them. Then we're going to continue to work through and understand what are the tools? What does this career toolkit look like? So for most students, it's talking about a career success roadmap. And we're going to break down what that roadmap looks like from year to year and where each of the areas of what they're going to be using from one year to another. So you as a partner will be able to understand at what level is that student at and where can you support them? How can you best navigate them? Maybe it's giving them advice on who to connect with professionally through your networks of contacts. Maybe it's potentially sending them to a referral with an employer. So those types of things. And then we're going to dive into some career assessment tools, particularly ones that are accessible by either your career center, but ones that may not be accessible. Every campus has different tools and resources. So it's going to be a great opportunity for you as an individual to either develop a relationship, if you don't have one already, with your career center office, but also the opportunity to really understand what are they not getting when they're visiting career services, or if they're not visiting career services, and how can you support them? So looking at the holistic evaluation of those tools. We're also going to dive into some of the market data based on jobs. So there's a lot of green job, a lot of new opportunities that are coming to play. And I'm going to share with you some free resources that can help you connect with students in your classroom, regardless of what type of course or industry you have a background in. It's going to be really easy to understand. And we're going to go into some of the areas talking about future coaching with your students and how do you potentially develop a relationship with employers in your classroom. I know a lot of career centers have an employer relations team, which is really successful at partnering with different departments and different colleges, but really looking at the ability to strengthen the relationships for students to get better contacts from employers outside of just the normal traditional information session or career fair or networking events. And then we're going to look at some ethical things that students encounters when it comes to diversity, which is a really important topic to understand from different student backgrounds and different socioeconomics classes that students are experiencing. So really important issues and topics. Holistically, 6 weeks seems like a short period of time, but throughout the 6 weeks, you'll have different modules similar to how Dawn mentioned hers. I'll be able to share with you weekly a live kind of Zoom meeting as well to do check-ins. Actually, none of it's required for you to do, but it's encouraged. So it's an opportunity for you to ask questions and join in discussion. And it'll be recorded for anybody who wants to not be able to have access to it later because we all have different lives. So be able to record and watch it later. So it's going to be a great, interesting course, smack in the middle between Dawn and Jesse, but I think for getting that kind of meat and potatoes and really helping you prepare and understanding so that you can start working with your career centers and better provide partnership for your students.
Great, thank you, Osmika. All right, next up is Jesse.
Hey everyone, I'm Jessie Stack-Lombardo, the Director of Career Design at SUNY Geneseo. I've been in Geneseo since 2018, and prior to that, spent 16 years in career services at Buffalo State College. So a lot of years of experience working in this field with my two colleagues. I get the pleasure of building upon Dawn and Jose Miguel's courses and really thinking about how to implement the things that you've already learned into your respective role on campus. So we'll spend a lot of time thinking about what those opportunities look like right now as they exist, and also how do you look at your role and identify potential opportunities for career readiness and career preparation that are currently not being done, but things that you can examine for possible future opportunities. So thinking about things in their current form, but also really stretching innovation to think about how you can help to scale career services on your respective campuses and in your role. As you can see with the course learning outcomes that are on the shared screen, there's actually 7 different areas. And really what the focus is really gonna hinge around the idea of customization. So how do you customize the things that you've learned already? And how do you bring that into your role with a strong focus around equity-minded practices? In other words, what are the many barriers that exist for students on your campus as it relates to career? And there are many. So when you're designing the potential strategies, you're really thinking about all students in mind. And with that comes the idea of scalability. How do you do this work in a scalable and sustainable way? So for me, those 3 areas are going to be a common theme throughout those 7 different modules: equity-minded practices, customization, and scalability. And then, of course, that goes hand in hand with partnership with your career services center. How do you build that partnership to help support the work that you're trying to do, as well as helping them to support the work that they're doing. So we will take a lot of what has already been learned from Dawn's theoretical models and understanding career theory, and then the application of the tools that you'll learn in Jose's section. So it really does build upon the prior two courses. Similar to Dawn and Jose, I will also host Zoom session, both office hours, and I think especially for the customization piece with mine, I probably will want to have an individual meeting with every single person in the course to talk about what those plans look like, to really spend some time thinking that through and offering individual feedback. So we'll do that both in group sessions and a one-on-one kind of consultation session scheduled around at your convenience, because I think building upon the group, but then also spending some time really refining and discussing your individual plans and what those look like are a really important component of sort of the end result, the compilation of all three of these sections.
Great, thanks, Jesse. Thank you all for being so succinct and articulate in your descriptions of your courses. I know I gave you a lot of time to do this, but I thought that was perfect. So we could skip through there if you'd like everybody's bios again. They're there on the website. As I mentioned before, here is the pricing tiers. If you're on a CPD member campus, and 50-something campuses are CPD members, that's the price. If you're at SUNY but not on a CPD member price campus, that's the price. And then if you're not from SUNY, it's the third tier pricing. And then, as I said, if you register for all three courses at the same time, that's the price per course. It comes out to $705 for CPD members. And then here's just how you can pay for them. If you do want to use CPD points, you do have a contact on your campus who you can ask whether or not you can use those points. We ask that you check with that person first before you select CPD points as the method. Okay, and then there are the dates. Again, starts January 4th, the first course. Again, 6 weeks. Second one starts right after that, another 6 weeks, and then the three courses conclude on May 9th. We will repeat this cycle again. Because of the summer getting in the way, we don't offer many courses in the summer because folks take off, have vacations and such. So our course 1 will begin, it's not on here, but it will begin a couple weeks, I believe, after, or maybe just 1 week after the third course 3 ends. It'll go from the end of May through June. And then we take off the summer and pick up. Course 2 will start at the end of August, go for 6 weeks. Course 3 will start in the middle of October and go to about a week before Thanksgiving. And registration now is currently, I believe, Jen, only open for the spring, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. But, if you're interested, and we currently right now have about 11 registrants. So we cap our courses at 20. So, if you're interested in the fall, I would recommend the spring, I would recommend you do it soon. We will keep a wait list if it does fill. And so the wait list will obviously kick in once we get to 20 on the registration. And obviously folks withdraw before the deadline or even within the week before, we will reach out to you if it does fill up. All right, any questions? Let's stop by share. So you can put them in the chat or you could open up your mic. Don't see any. Again, feel free, this is your chance to ask the instructors anything about the program. Okay, well, I don't see any questions. I'll just say then, before we let folks go, that one of the things I'm really excited about this program is the fact that it has such a direct benefit to students. It's typically kind of with professional development for faculty and staff, sometimes you learn skills and it's how it applies directly to students is kind of up to the individual. But what I think you heard from Dawn, Jose Miguel, and Jesse today was how much they're really focused on student success and how directly working with students, and it's so I think it's going to be exciting for folks to kind of get to learn that and then put that right into practice on their campus. All right, last call for questions. Anybody have any last words? No? All right, we'll share this recording link with everybody registered after today, and feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions. My email is just chrisprice@suny.edu. And yeah, we'll hope to see you in the program in the spring. All right, thanks again, presenters, for coming.
Thank you.